Now imagine this. You have been scrolling on your phone for 3 hours, 4 hours, and have no memory about what you have seen. You're watching TV while on your phone, while thinking about tomorrow, while completely disconnected from the present moment. If this sounds familiar to you, you're not just distracted. You might be dissociating, and technology is actually making it worse. Making it worse in ways we are only beginning to understand. Not distraction, but dissociation from reality. Welcome back to Huddle Psychology, where we get uncomfortably real about the stuff going on in your head. I'm Rahul Nair, and we are here to decode the psychology behind why we do the weird things we do. All right, so let's set this up properly. Dissociation used primarily, dissociation used to be primarily associated with trauma. Your mind's way of somehow protecting you from overwhelming experiences by disconnecting you from reality. That's what typically dissociation was, or was understood to be. But now we are beginning to see a new kind of dissociation that's becoming almost normalized. Digital dissociation. You zone out while you're scrolling, lose hours to mindless content consumption, feel disconnected from your own life while being hyper connected to everybody else's life. You're physically present but mentally always somewhere else, using technology as some kind of an escape, a constant escape from your own thoughts and your own feelings. This is what we are beginning to see. And this isn't just distraction or merely procrastination. It's your brain using digital stimulation as a coping mechanism to avoid uncomfortable internal experiences. And while it might feel harmless, chronic digital dissociation can actually disconnect you from your own life, your relationships, and also from your sense of self. So let's understand what dissociation actually is. Dissociation exists on a kind of a spectrum, from mild spacing out to complete disconnection from reality. At its core, it's your mind's way of protecting you from experiences that kind of feel too overwhelming to properly process, to process fully. So healthy dissociation is normal. Healthy dissociation is normal and sometimes even useful. So for example, a little bit of daydreaming, getting absorbed in a really good book, or losing track of time when you're doing something really enjoyable. The flow state, for example. This kind of dissociation is chosen. You choose it, and it's refreshing in many ways. Trauma-related dissociation, on the other hand, is your brain's emergency exit during overwhelming experiences. It can range from mild spacing out during stress to severe disconnection from your body, from your emotions, and even from your memories. And then comes digital dissociation, which is a new category of dissociation where we are seeing more and more of it. Here it's using technology to consistently avoid internal experiences, emotions, thoughts, physical sensations, or present moment awareness. Your phone becomes a kind of a portal from whatever you don't want to feel. So here's how digital dissociation typically works in your life or might show up in your life. Endless scrolling as emotional avoidance. When you feel anxious or sad, bored or uncomfortable, you automatically reach out for your phone. The constant stream of content provides just enough stimulation, to distract you from that internal discomfort without actually addressing the underlying feelings. Number two, multitasking as presence avoidance. By this, I mean you're never fully present in any one experience because you're always partially engaged in the phone or with a screen in front of you. This prevents you from fully feeling whatever it is that is happening in your actual real life, whether pleasant or unpleasant. And number three, content consumption as identity avoidance. By this I mean instead of developing your own thoughts, interests, and your own opinions, you consume a lot of other people's content. This can, in the short run, in the interim, make you feel connected to ideas and experiences while actually disconnecting you from your own internal compass, restricting you from having your own thoughts and opinions and ideas. Now, the psychology behind why this is problematic is important for us to understand. You see, your emotions and physical sensations, these things exist for a purpose, for a reason, to give you important information about your needs, your boundaries, and your environment. That's what they are there for. So, your emotions and your physical sensations give you signals about important needs that you may have, the boundaries that you may need to set, and information about the environment in which you find yourself. Now, when you consistently avoid this information or block out these signals through digital dissociation, you lose touch with your own internal guidance system. You're basically throwing out your GPS navigation system out into the open ocean. And that can be very problematic indeed. So, how do you distinguish healthy digital engagement and problematic dissociation? So, here are three awareness practices for you to practice. Number one is what I call the intention check. Before reaching for your phone, just pause. Pause and ask, what am I trying to avoid feeling right now? Is there something that I'm avoiding or trying to avoid feeling right now? If you can identify a specific emotion or discomfort that you're trying to escape from, that's likely digital dissociation. If you're genuinely choosing to engage with content for a very specific purpose, then that's different. So you choose to say stream a TV show or a movie for entertainment purpose, that's different. That's not digital dissociation. It's mindless consumption that is worrying. So check your intent. Before you reach out to your devices, ask yourself, is there a feeling that I'm trying to avoid? Secondly, the presence practice. Set random alarms throughout the day. Random alarms throughout the day that prompt you to kind of take notice. Where is my attention right now? Where is my attention right now? How does my body feel right now, right here? What emotions am I currently experiencing? If you consistently discover you've been mentally away, then, even without realizing it, then you might be dissociating more than you care to think about. So that's the second practice, the presence practice. And thirdly is what I call the re-engagement experiment. And by this, what I mean is try spending very specific periods of time with no digital stimulation, no phone, no music, no podcasts, no screens. Notice what happens. Notice what comes up. If you start feeling anxious, there's anxiety, there's restlessness, or emotional discomfort, this suggests you might be using tech to avoid these natural internal experiences. So that's the re-engagement experiment, staying away from your devices for a fixed period of time every day. So here's what healthy digital boundaries might actually look like. Using tech intentionally rather than compulsively. Being able to tolerate boredom, and we've talked about the benefits of boredom in our previous videos. Being able to tolerate boredom and uncomfortable emotions without immediately reaching out, without immediately reaching for stimulation, and maintaining awareness of your internal state even when engaging with digital content. So here's what healthy digital boundaries might actually look like. Using tech intentionally rather than compulsively, being able to tolerate boredom. And we've talked about that before in one of our videos. Being able to tolerate boredom and uncomfortable emotions without immediately reaching for stimulation. And perhaps maintaining awareness of your internal state even when engaging with digital content. These are perhaps healthy ways to create digital boundaries. It's also important to kind of understand the difference between digital dissociation and genuine mental health problems and issues. If you're using tech to cope with depression, anxiety, or trauma, that's understandable. Understandable and sometimes even necessary. The key is awareness, though. As I mentioned before, awareness and intention. Are you choosing to use tech as a coping tool, or is it happening automatically without your conscious choice? That's really the question. If you suspect your digital habits are kind of helping you avoid dealing with underlying mental health challenges and issues, then that's worth exploring with a professional. Sometimes what looks like digital addiction is actually untreated anxiety, depression, or maybe even trauma. So it is worthwhile talking to a professional if you suspect it is the case. So that is a little bit about digital dissociation. So here's, having heard about this, this is the homework for this week. Try the phone free experiment for just 20 minutes a day in the coming week. Notice what emotions or thoughts come up when you're not distracted by digital content. Don't judge whatever comes your way. Don't judge what arises. Just observe it with some curiosity. Also, pay attention to your automatic phone reaching habits and patterns. What situations, emotions, or environments tend to trigger you to dissociate through technology? Keep a note of that in the coming week. As far as what we're going to do next week, we will explore the philosophy of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance, the difference between giving up and letting go, and why surrendering to what you cannot control might be the most powerful thing that you will ever learn to do. But that's coming up next week. This week, again, coming back to the topic of digital dissociation, let me know in the comments. Do you recognize digital dissociation patterns in your own life, in yourself? What helps you stay present in a hyper connected world? Let's figure out healthy digital boundaries together. Leave your comments below. And as always, if you want to go deeper, please do visit our blog, huddlepsychology.substack.com. And if you want to talk about any of these things, any of these topics on a one-to-one basis, hit me up at rahul@huddlepsychology.com. And before I leave you, I also want to remind you that I've released a new book, my first ever book, on Advaita Vedanta a couple of months back. It is available in the Kindle store across all Amazon marketplaces. The paperback is available in the UK as well as in the US Amazon marketplaces. The title of the book is already home, Advaita Vedanta for Everyday Living. I hope you will check the book out and support my debut offering. I'd be grateful for your support. So, until next time, keep huddling and keep growing. Ciao for now.